Major cuts and changes could be in store for the Vigo County School Corporation. On November 5th, voters will be asked to fund a $7 million per year operational referendum. But this plan also includes the school corporation making $4 million in budget cuts.
Tonight, Demetrius Sanders learned where school administration hopes to make these cuts. He joins us now with what this could mean for the future of the Vigo County School Corporation. Demetrius.
Sadie, Mike, since early September, Superintendent Rob Hayworth has held community meetings to gather thoughts on where cuts in the school spending should come from. Monday, Hayworth presented a plan that includes redesigning alternative education and consolidating schools. Monday, Vigo County School Superintendent Dr. Rob Hayworth presented a proposal on where spending cuts should be made to help preserve the corporation's cash balance. Hayworth says some of the proposed cuts came from ideas that were made during community meetings he has held throughout recent months.
Took that information as well as working internally with our operations crew and our educational crew, and then proposed just over $5 million of spending cuts.
The proposed cuts will be made in 3 phases. The first phase calls for $3,765,000 in spending cuts. This would include switching the corporation's bus replacement plan from 12 to 13 years, Booker T. Washington High School hosting alternative education programs, and top administration taking pay cuts.
We will take some of those, I wouldn't call them hits, reductions. Myself, it will be a $20,000 loss in compensation.
Phase 2 and 3 of Hayworth's proposal is expected to create over $3 million in savings, and this would include consolidating from 18 elementary schools to 15, with the vacated buildings being used for office space and possibly for-profit daycares. Hayworth says administration will consider schools with less than 300 students for consolidation, among other factors.
What's the actual use of that building currently? If we're going to move and consolidate, how many other buildings are going to be affected in that move and consolidation?
And Hayworth says these are cuts he hopes to make regardless of what happens at the polls in November.
The speed at which those would occur is the win and loss. We've demonstrated $5 million tonight. We know that ask is over 8.
Hayworth's proposal also calls for the school corporation to sell their current administrative building and possibly move to the McLean Education Center. Through this proposal, McLean staff would fill other positions throughout the school corporation. Sadie?
Thank you, Demetrius. Hayworth says some of Phase 1 has been put in place, but other cuts must be approved by the school board.